be the best. I want to be the best there ever was. I want to make this team the best WNBA team there's ever been. But also, I want to win for my teammates. I want to win for this franchise.
Clark fires. Steps back with the three over Brianna Stewart. Caitlin Clark throws it from it. Most dynamic player in the game. Clark a deep three. You bet. Clark. Wow. You bet. Beyond the logo.
Hello guys, welcome back to TFD. We're back with some truly major news, the kind of development that doesn't just create headlines, but actually shifts the entire conversation around the league. What we're seeing right now suggests that the so-called Caitlin Clark effect has translated into real financial results for the WNBA and its ownership groups. For the first time in a long time, there's genuine optimism surrounding the league's business trajectory, and the numbers are finally backing up the hype. If you look at what's happened in Indiana and across the league as a whole, the data paints a clear picture. Social media debates can go on forever, fans can argue about narratives, and analysts can split credit in different directions, but hard numbers tell the truth. We're talking about packed arenas night after night. We're talking about road games selling out when the Indiana Fever come to town. We're talking about national television ratings climbing to levels the WNBA hasn't experienced before. That kind of surge doesn't just happen randomly. That's star power. That's cultural relevance. That's one player driving unprecedented attention. Now, players like Angel Reese have made the point that multiple stars contributed to this rise in popularity. And to be fair, the league absolutely has elite talent across the board. The WNBA is deeper and more competitive than ever. But when the focus shifts specifically to financial impact, to measurable growth in ticket revenue, merchandise sales, sponsorships, and broadcast value, one name consistently sits at the center of the discussion: Caitlin Clark. What makes this moment even more significant is who delivered the financial update. The news about the league officially getting into the green came through the Women's National Basketball Players Association, the Players Union. That detail alone adds another layer to the story. When financial benchmarks are reached and revenue sharing is triggered, it's not just about celebration, it's also about negotiation leverage. Especially with larger collective bargaining discussions on the horizon. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert had previously emphasized long-term growth, sustainability, and collective progress rather than attributing economic transformation to any one player. The messaging was careful and strategic. But now, confirmed reports indicate that the league generated enough revenue in 2025 to activate revenue sharing for the first time in its history. All 13 teams are set to receive a combined $8 million to distribute among players. That's historic. That's structural change. That's players directly benefiting from league growth. And it doesn't stop there. Union leadership also announced $9.5 million in licensing revenue generated since 2020 from jersey sales, trading cards, video games, and other merchandise. Money that will now be shared with players. That's tangible proof that commercial momentum is converting into real dollars naturally. Much of the spotlight turns toward Clark's market influence. Her jersey sales have consistently ranked among the highest not only in the WNBA, but across both the WNBA and NBA landscape. One of her rookie trading cards sold for $660,000 at public auction, the highest price ever recorded for a female athlete's card. Those aren't symbolic milestones. Those are financial benchmarks. That's consumer demand translating directly into market value. Whether critics want to fully credit her or prefer to frame it as a collective surge, the timing is impossible to ignore. Her arrival coincided with record-breaking attendance, surging ratings, increased sponsorship buzz, and heightened national visibility. The league feels bigger. The conversation feels louder. The economic results feel stronger. This isn't just hype or narrative building anymore. It's financial documentation. Revenue sharing has been triggered. Licensing money is being distributed. Negotiations are evolving from a position of growth rather than survival. And when you look at the timeline of this transformation, it aligns directly with the moment Caitlin Clark stepped into the professional spotlight.
Their money. They deserve their cut.
Sure.
They've helped build this league into what it is. That's the one side. The other side is that the owners have been here too. And they're saying over a lengthy period of time, we've been losing money. We ain't trying to lose more. And that's where the lines are drawn in the sand. So what you have to ask yourself as ladies is, look at what you've built and look at all that's happening in the world of sports. Can you afford to jeopardize a season? Because in the end, the owners who are not known, who are not in the public eye, who are not public faces for the league, they could sit back and say, hey, we got our money. We ain't trying to lose more. So it hurts the game and we can't make it, but we ain't trying to lose more anyway. You're ladies, you're trying to make this money and you're trying to build off the league. And my advice, and I've said this in the past, would be this. Continue to strive hard to get yours, be reasonable, understand where the lines are drawn in the sand and go from there. But a rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
Whoever is the marketing, whether it's the Caitlin Clark, it's the Unesco's or anybody else, ride those waves unapologetically because ultimately it builds the popularity of the league and everyone will benefit in some capacity down the line. It can't always be about what you want in the immediate. You have to have a marathon's point of view as opposed to a sprinter.
Yeah.
That was Stephen A. Smith weighing in on the current financial shift happening in the WNBA. And this situation is much bigger than just headlines. Detailed reporting, including information shared with ESPN, outlines exactly how the league calculated its revenue and how it ultimately reached the benchmark required to trigger revenue sharing with players for the first time in league history. According to those reports, the WNBA generated enough revenue in 2025 to officially activate the revenue sharing clause built into the 2020 collective bargaining agreement. Union leadership was informed earlier this month that the financial target had been met, marking a historic milestone for the league. As a result, all 13 teams will receive a combined $8 million from the league to distribute among players. To truly understand how significant this moment is, you have to look back at the structure of the 2020 CBA. The revenue benchmarks were originally based on 2019 revenue numbers, then compounded by 20% in subsequent seasons. All of this happened while the league was navigating the uncertainty and financial strain of the COVID-19 pandemic. Those were difficult years for professional sports across the board, and the WNBA was no exception. Importantly, these financial projections and thresholds were established before Caitlin Clark ever entered the league. Under the terms of that agreement, players are entitled to 50% of the revenue share above the defined threshold after certain expense deductions. Now, for the first time ever, players will see additional compensation directly tied to league growth. That is not just symbolic, it's a tangible financial breakthrough. Many observers point out that this surge in revenue has coincided with a dramatic increase in visibility, ticket sales, television ratings, sponsorship activity, and overall media attention. The timing aligns closely with Clark's arrival into the league, which has fueled intense debate about her impact. Whether someone believes the growth should be credited collectively or sees one player as the primary driver, the numbers reflect a noticeable shift during this era. Packed arenas, sold-out road games, record-breaking viewership, and heightened national attention have all contributed to this financial uptick. At the same time, leadership within the players' union has emphasized unity and collective progress. Nika Agumike, president of the Women's National Basketball Players Association, has spoken about how the union has strengthened its collective packaging of players' name, image, and likeness rights. She stressed that the union exists to represent all players and that sharing in the league's financial growth is a positive and necessary step forward. Beyond the $8 million being distributed from league revenue, union leaders also confirmed plans to allocate $9.25 million in licensing revenue generated from jersey sales, trading cards, video games, and other merchandise since 2020. That money is expected to be shared among players as well, further reinforcing the idea that commercial growth is now translating into direct player compensation. However, this moment also arrives during ongoing negotiations for a new CBA set to begin with the 2026 season. Reports indicate that players are seeking 27.5% of certain revenue categories in the next agreement, while Ogumike has made it clear that no one wants a strike or work stoppage. She also acknowledged that being prepared is essential in high-level negotiations. Labor discussions in professional sports often intensify as deadlines approach. And even Adam Silver has previously noted that major agreements frequently get finalized at the last possible moment. The broader context makes this development even more significant. For nearly 19 years, the WNBA has faced financial challenges and questions about sustainability. Now, for the first time, the league has reached a revenue level that activates profit-sharing mechanisms with its players. That represents a turning point not just in perception, but in documented financial reality. It signals growth, momentum, and a shift in the league's economic foundation, whether one views the timing as coincidence or clear cause and effect. It's undeniable that this milestone has occurred during a transformative era for the league. The financial benchmarks have been met, revenue sharing has been triggered, and the conversation about the WNBA's economic future has fundamentally changed.